Have you ever seen the movie Arrival with Forrest Whitaker and some other people I can't remember? Where there are 12 spacecrafts landing across the Earth, and we follow a team that tries to communicate with two alien beings inside one of those crafts. They call them Abbott and Costello. And they try to make the communication as clear as possible as to learn the purpose and intention of them being there. And I feel like when I was younger, I used to say this: I know what I mean, I understand it, I just cannot explain it. So I know what I mean, I just can't express it. I can't say it, but I know what I mean. I understand it. And I hear other people say that as well. And what I make of that is this being more of a hostage situation. It's more of a hostage situation with you being withheld your sole intention, as your mind is not humble. It is to be able to understand what's going on and actually make a comprehension of why, to come to the realization of your purpose and your intention regarding your authenticity rather than your dirty business, is humility, as to say, I don't actually know what I'm talking about. I don't know what I'm talking about. But I would like to be a better interpreter in relation to the unfamiliar and what is actually alien to me inside myself, as to come to a greater understanding of the purpose and intention that stems from the core of your being, as you are love, and that's why you're here. Because if that communication is full of static, it's not clear, it is noisy, it is hard to interpret, or you state that you understand it, but you cannot explain it, which means that you really can't explain it. You're just not being humble as to your own comprehension of what is actually going on in your life and why. Well, then it will be a struggle, a conflict. So none of this is in relation to anybody else. You never have to come to a realization as to explain something regarding self-realization in relation to anybody else. You just need to be honest and clear about it in relation to yourself, as to make yourself understand. It's not a competition. You don't have to prove anything. The hostage scene is not outside of yourself. The scene is within you, where you are being blocked by yourself. The more humble we are, the less defensive we are. The more humble, the more we aim for, have an ambition to be more loving, more compassionate, and to actually come to the realization primarily that this is not something attainable. It is not possible to become humble. It's not possible to become grateful either. It is relating, being humble, being grateful, returning as to never be finished, which is something that human beings like to, because of the rational mind. Because the rational mind, the ego, is all about chores. It's all about function. It's all about getting things done. So it wants to arrive all the time. Okay, I know now. I am complete now. I am supreme now. I am all of these static, rigid models that actually don't exist and are the exact opposite of being humble. Humble is loose and open as to, or maybe I just was completely wrong about this, and I'm grateful for getting a new perspective, an inspiration as to make things clearer for myself, as that enhances my communication to myself, which makes for my life being a lot less tensed and full of discomfort, because I'm not in a scene with a lot of drama as I'm trying to prove a bunch of stuff inside myself all the time. We can be completely alien to ourselves, within ourselves. And the origin of that is just arrogance, not being humble as to say that, I don't know, I can always learn more, I can always become better, I can always be inspired. That's what it is. But not trashing yourself completely, but as to make adjustments in various areas. And it's very interesting that in this movie there were 12 ships across the globe, and there are 12 gross personality traits, and Jesus had 12 disciples. And what I make of that is that we need to be true and come clear, be clear in our communication, and stay true and loyal in all 12 aspects of ourselves. And then we become a clear image in relation to ourselves. I wouldn't say spotless, because that implies that I would be or somebody else would be perfect, which is non-existent. We are perfect at our core. Our soul being is perfect. But then we make mistakes, as we are here to learn. So nobody is wrong. But to learn more, you need to get inspired. To develop and unfold and actually become more. Because the more you want outside of yourself is a reflection of who you are. So you need to become more as you expand your soul. That's the true knowledge. It is not so much in learning different capitals of countries around the world. It is more about coming to a realization of who you are and being able to communicate clearly in humility and gratitude in relation to yourself, as to remain inspired and not being jealous, because that's warfare. Inspiration is peace. And maybe that's what Abbott and Costello wanted to share with us. I think so. I feel so. I think any alien, higher, more developed life form would actually try to tell us, stop fighting yourself as an individual and as a collective. And that means learn to communicate with yourself and others, and things will work out, because there are not a bunch of confusion and interpretation that creates all the static noise, making it hard to see the clear picture. Life in its simplicity with a sole intention is not a bunch of dirty business. It is actually just getting along, supporting each other, getting inspired, praising and loving and supporting oneself in order to give what we have, which is to support, love, and praise each other. And then we live in peace. It's a beautiful movie if you haven't seen it. Arrival. I'm gonna watch it today. I just saw half of it. I love you. Strive to communicate better with yourself. It makes for a better life, because it takes away a bunch of confusion, which makes you interpret. And when you interpret, you all often enlarge and make things bigger than they are. And that creates a bigger bang outside of yourself. Eventually, if you don't communicate and express that. Have a nice day. Bye.